Hi, it's me. I'm adding on another video on the I think it's part 12 of Finding JOeY. And I have been meaning to do this, so my dogs can't get in here, or the cats, so I'm gonna have some quiet and peace. This video is a recent JOeY visitation where he came to let someone know something that they needed to know. When I was at the Monroe Institute and I was studying meditation there, and I learned, like I said in my previous video, I had no idea I could meditate, but yes, I could, and I did, and I reached levels of what people call consciousness and other realms that they're all around us, that I didn't even know I could do this. You know, it was like finding the Holy Grail. One of the people that I did meet when I was there, and I knew immediately, I mean just immediately, that this person's spirit, you know, at this other level, and mine had known each other, or were supposed to meet, and became like zoned in on spirit to spirit, zoned in on each other as friends. And his name, and he's my friend on Facebook, is Pablo. And Pablo and I both had a very intense meditative thing happen, where we were both just so amazed at ourselves, I think, that we could access that which we needed to know from meditation. And I mean, we were in tears with joy at what was happening to us. So sometimes I turn to Pablo because JOeY's actually come to him and out of the blue and shown him things, and sometimes I've turned to Pablo and asked him if he would go into meditation. Again, as I said in a previous video, JOeY did come to Pablo. I think I told you about JOeY coming to Pablo, and Pablo being in a movie theater and meditating right before the movie, and JOeY came to Pablo and said, "Look for a word in this movie." And Pablo said, and JOeY just showed up. And Pablo lives in Rio. He's never met JOeY, you know. But he came as JOeY to Pablo, and he said to him, "Look for a word in this movie." And Pablo said, "What word?" I mean, you know, movies have lots of words in them. And JOeY told Pablo, "Look for the word, you'll see it." And the word came up in the movie, and the word was Excelsior. And kept coming up over and over again. And then JOeY showed Pablo a whole bunch of spaceships. How cryptic. But Pablo, you know, Pablo wrote to me and said this is what happened in his meditation. He said he was just meditating, sitting at the movie theater before the movie started, and here comes JOeY and gives him these images. Spaceships and the word Excelsior. Now neither Pablo nor I knew what those meant. But JOeY knew that I would figure it out, because JOeY knows I like to figure things out, you know. And I typed Excelsior into my Google search engine, and immediately the web said that it means onward, upward, forwards, and of course that would be JOeY. You know, he's going warp speed right now, and his level of perception and consciousness. And he was still JOeY, you know, but he's going warp speed. That made sense, but I didn't know what the spaceships meant. I had no idea why he would send Pablo a big, giant idea of thousands of spaceships. But common sense just came over me for a second there, and I said, "Hey, I'll type Excelsior into my Google search engine and click on images." So I did. And by God, what do you think showed up? a whole page full of spaceships. And neither Pablo nor I knew that the Star Trek series had named their fleet, their second fleet, the Excelsior series. So JOeY once again comes through to Pablo, and he does that a lot. He goes to other people, not me, but to other people very strongly, and gives them examples of, yeah, I'm still here, yeah, I'm still around, and he's almost like playing pranks to let me know he's still around, and no worries. So when I told Pablo, I said, I think I found where the spaceships came from. Click on images on Excelsior, and he did, and he said, we found the spaceships, that JOeY was trying to get the point across to. So that, along with JOeY's showing me paintings I should draw of, that look like Hubble pictures, JOeY's just really the party of the universe. Just recently, I was, not too many months ago, a call came to me that from my brother, Andy, that his wife was feeling a great deal of lower back pain, that she was really in a lot of pain. And I said to my brother, you really, really need to take her into a spinal surgeon, because this could be a slipped disc, or it could be something that needs to be, it could be easily fixed, because she was having a really hard time walking. And she's very young, she's in her 40s, so I said, get her in there and get this taken care of. You don't want her to get worse, because that's what JOeY had, was a slip disc, and he had a very bad degenerative back disease, and this could get worse and worse. So my brother took her into the spinal surgeon, and instead of finding a slip disc, the spinal surgeon found a number of tumors growing out of the bottom of her spine. So, my brother called me and said, oh my God, my wife has tumors in her lower spine, and my God. My brother was really very upset, of course. And so I said, well, what are they going to do now? And he said they're going to do an analysis, and they're going to probably have to go in there and find out, what's going on with her lower spine. And she had so much pain in her lower spine, so much. And pain nowhere else, just in her lower spine. So I wrote to Pablo on Facebook, and I said, Pablo, if you happen to be in meditation and JOeY happens to show up, would you ask him about my sister-in-law and her spine, and find out what's going on? And if JOeY doesn't come to you, fine, and if he does, fine. But I really trust your insight. And Pablo said, no problem. Well, Pablo went into meditation, and JOeY did show up. And JOeY sent Pablo a very cryptic message at the time, which was, focus on your sister-in-law's neck. There's a pain in her neck. The neck is where the energy's around. Check her neck. The neck. Not the lower spine, the neck. So I called my brother, Andy, and I told him what Pablo said. I told him that JOeY had come and said that there's a lot of energy around her neck that should be focused upon, not her lower back. And my brother didn't understand that. It was like, why? She doesn't have any pain in her neck. And I said, well, JOeY said there's something going on around her neck, and there's a pain in her neck, and that's got to be looked at. So a couple days later, my brother took his wife into the spinal surgeon, who just happened to decide to do a complete MRI on her whole back and find out exactly what was going on with her entire back, not just her lower back where she was feeling the pain, but from top to bottom. And out of the blue, she finds out from the MRI and the intense tests she had run that there were a huge amount of tumors in her neck where she was not feeling any pain at all, and that the tumors in her neck were the ones the doctors were the most concerned about, because they were pressing against her spinal nerve, which was at her C4 level, and they were about to sever it. Now the C4 is the most important part of the neck, because if that part of the nerve is severed, you stop breathing. And those tumors were just filled up on her neck. She had no pain there. It was only in her lower spine. And the doctors were amazed that she had no pain around her neck. And they were also amazed that the tumors had not severed her spinal cord, because they were so close. So JOeY knew ahead of time, before the doctors, that the neck was the part that had to be focused upon, that the neck was where everything was going on, and that that was what had to be taken care of immediately. And he knew it before the doctors told Andy. He knew it before my sister-in-law. He knew it before everybody. In other words, JOeY and all of them, my dad, my mom, everybody that's made that journey into the light, they had already been working on Sue. They had already been very aware of what was going on with her neck. And they came and told Pablo and gave the answer ahead of time, before the doctors, before anyone else knew. I told Sue and Andy that story that Pablo had told me, that JOeY had come and talked about her neck, and they were amazed. They were amazed that and it sort of reaffirmed to them that there was a lot going on past this place with JOeY and, everybody in that place of God, whatever you call God, had known this already, that it was her neck that had to be worked on. The doctors went right in within days to get those tumors out of her neck before it severed her C4 spinal cord. They didn't even concentrate on the lower back, where the pain really actually was occurring. They went straight to her neck first and took out the tumors. So that's another one of the visitations that JOeY has shown, that he's around, that he's laughing, that he's letting us know. And I want to thank Pablo for being open and helping me with that. Again, JOeY, I think, shows up very, very strongly, and other people do show up very strongly to my friends or to Pablo or to other people more than to me, because for some reason they know I'm going to really believe. They know there's still a skeptic in me that doesn't quite believe it until I hear it from somebody else. There's a credibility factor that JOeY knows that when I hear something from Pablo, I'm gonna, and Pablo describes JOeY in detail very perfectly as JOeY's essence, is Pablo's never met JOeY, but in meditation he meets the JOeY I know. JOeY goes to his brothers and they explain things. My father just recently came not only to my brother, but also to my girlfriend Marcia, who's never met him. And he was, in essence, exactly the same to both of them. And so they go to other people who've never known them or have known them, but it makes it much more credible to me. And they're very specific. So it's all in the details. So yeah, the veil is very thin, and I know there is no veil. But when they want to show up, they really show up. So that's this part of the series, and if any other JOeY coming to people stuff occurs, I'll put it on here. I just wanted to get this one done. Don't ever think they're not working on you. They're always around us. They're just flying a little higher than we are. We're still sort of trudging through this dimension, or whatever you want to call it. Alright, that's my video. This part 12, I guess. Let's see what part 13 might show up one of these days. Bye-bye.